Do you have a superiority complex? If not, you need one, and you need to start developing it right now, today, before tomorrow starts. Having a superiority complex is going to give you confidence. It's going to increase your overall general feeling of every day. Your belief in yourself is going to go up. You're going to help you carry you through the difficult times that you may be facing now or that you might face down the road. Because, as you know, all of us are either going into a problem, coming out of a problem, or are in the middle of a problem. And so, having this superiority complex is going to compel you into a closer walk with Jesus, help you to rely on Him even more than you do today, and it's going to lead you to your dream life and ministry. All of this by developing your very own superiority complex. Now, I get it. I know what you're thinking is you probably are skeptical because we've been taught from the time we're real little that having this superiority complex is a bad thing, that it should be shunned, it should be avoided, because we're just taught that, and because we're taught to be nice to people and everything else. And so from the very beginning we're said, hey, don't have that superiority complex, or it's discouraged. However, what I want to do today is I want to show you how having a superiority complex in one specific area, just one, is actually the key that you've been looking for. It's going to open up the opportunities that you're looking for. It's going to lead you to confidence. It's going to lead you to a better version of you. If you develop this superiority complex in this one particular area, if you do it right, it could open the door to everything you're looking for, including your dream life and ministry. So let's get started. So the big question is this: how do pastors like us, who remain focused on the mission of Jesus and serving our communities without being distracted by everything in the world around us, how do we increase our effectiveness while living a lifestyle that doesn't compromise our health, our families, or our personal relationships with Jesus? That's the question this podcast is going to answer. I'm Dr. Brandon Party Cooper, and welcome to the Ministry Hackers Podcast. To this episode of the Ministry Hackers Podcast. I hope you're doing well. If you are new to the Ministry Hackers Podcast today, my name is Dr. Brandon Party Cooper. I am the founder here at Ministry Hackers, and our goal, number one goal here, is to help you live your dream life in ministry. So my question is this morning, hey, Pastor, how's your summer looking so far? Here we are, it's June. We're at the beginning of the summer. We have, the next 2 months, 3 months of summer ahead of us. So how is your summer looking? Do you have your vacations planned? Do you have downtime prepped, ready to go? Are you planning on doing something fun this summer? Are you hanging out with your family, or are you going to ball games or cookouts, or are you camping, or are you going to spend some time at the pool or at the golf course? Or does your summer look packed full of events at the church, all these ministry initiatives that you're planning on doing? Are you filling your summer up with things that are going to grow your church and develop your ministry? Because if that's the case, then it's a good indication you're not living your dream life in ministry. You and I both know that someday where we say, "Yeah, I'll do that someday." I'll take that vacation someday, or I'll go do that with my kids someday, or I'll go take my spouse and we'll go do that thing someday. Well, that someday never really comes, right? Because that someday has been coming for a long time. And as we are sitting here at the beginning of June, we're looking at the summer, and we're filling up our days and we're filling up our months with things that we need to do at the church and in our ministries and reaching people and everything else. We're not developing or implementing or planning or scheduling time for us, for downtime, for family, for relaxation, for hobbies. That's a good indication that you're not living your dream life in ministry. And so what I want to do today is I want to invite you. I want to invite you to consider allowing me to partner with you during the summer to help you discover what your dream life in ministry looks like. God's designed it, and I believe that it's out there waiting for you. We just need to figure out how to get there. And so what I want to do is I want to invite you. I want to invite you to go to ministryhackers.com/consulting. I want to invite you to sign up. Allow me to come alongside you. Allow me to work with you. What I've done is I have served with some great pastors over the years. And not only that, but I have watched them. I've watched their dream life in ministry unfold. I've watched them live their dream life, and I myself have taken what I've learned from them, and I've developed my own dream life in ministry. I'm living my calling, my dream life, my family life, everything right now. And it's because I watched what these pastors did and how they approached ministry and how they pastored growing churches while spending time with their family, while having hobbies, having friends, having things outside of church and outside of ministry. And so what I've done is I've taken everything that I learned from them and everything that I've implemented in my own life, and I've created this 5-step framework that's going to show you exactly how you can live your dream life in ministry. And what I would like to do is I would like to come alongside you this summer. I would like to come alongside you and walk you step by step through the process and help you discover what your dream life in ministry looks like. I have no idea. I have no idea what your dream life in ministry looks like, but God does, because He's designed it for you and it's out there waiting for you to discover it. But the problem is that too many of us as pastors and ministry leaders, we are buried under the demands of ministry, and we never really have a chance to pursue that dream life in ministry that God has called us to. And so what I want you to do is I want you to consider to allow me to come alongside you this summer and show you exactly how to discover that dream life in ministry that God has created for you and that He wants you to live, so that you can pastor your growing church and spend time with your family and have hobbies and have things that you enjoy doing, increasing your own mental health, increasing your emotional stability, increasing your satisfaction and your fulfillment in ministry and in life. I just want to come alongside you and help you. So again, go to ministryhackers.com/consulting and allow me to come alongside you and help you start pursuing your dream life in ministry. So today I want to start off with a quote from Ernest Hemingway, one of our great just pillars in the culture of American life. Ernest Hemingway, great author. He said, "True nobility lies in being superior to your former self." Now, this begs the question, what is nobility? I think we have to understand what nobility is first before we can really go down this road of understanding how to live a life of nobility. And what nobility is, especially when we're talking about leadership and pastoral leadership and leading people and serving people, noble leadership is really built on honor and inspires others to be honorable themselves. If you're a leader with a noble heart or a noble character, then what it does is it infuses encouragement into the lives of those you lead. You encourage them to be the best versions of themselves. You encourage them to live these great, fulfilling lives. And people are desperate for that. People are desperate to be a part of something bigger than themselves, something that matters. And what greater calling, what greater thing could someone put their hands to than advancing the kingdom of God and reaching people for the glory of Christ and for to be in relationship with Him. And so if you're living a life of nobility, that means that you have a character and confidence and humility and honor. You are living a life that is not only inspirational to others, but it's also a life that people want to emulate. They want to model after you. They see that life. They see who you are. They see that person that you are, and they want to be like that. So as pastors and ministry leaders, who of us does not want to live a noble life, right? I mean, isn't that kind of who we are built to be as pastors? We give our lives, we answer the call. God says, "Hey, I'm going to call you into ministry to do whatever," and we answer that call, understanding and knowing that our lives are not our own, that we give them to others, and that our life will be a life of service to the betterment and growth and development of other people. So the problem, though, comes in when guys like me start coming along and talking about your dream life in ministry. Well, how do we live a dream life in ministry while we're still serving and loving and honoring others? How do we do that? Because those two things seem out of step or out of place with each other. And what I argue, and kind of the point that I try to make as we pursue our dream life in ministry, is that many of us as pastors and leaders are living a life that is imbalanced. It's too much ministry. It's too much the work, the job. There are too many people demanding our time and our attention. The pressures are too high. The stress is too high. The anxiety is too high. And we're not living these healthy lives. And I believe that every one of us is called to live a selfless life of ministry while at the same time living that dream life that God has called us to. And that's why I say I don't define what your dream life is. I just help you discover what God has already designed for you so that you can live the dream life that he's created. Okay, so I think all of us can understand that. We can all get on board with that. Yes, I want to have this life that that's full of character and humility and honor and nobility, a life that's encouraging to others, that's serving others. Yes, I want all those things. So wait a second. What about the superiority complex we talked about at the front end? How does that play in, right? Isn't that the question that if you're listening to this episode and you're at this point, you're like, I don't see the connection here. Because having a superiority complex and living a life of nobility seems to, again, be out of step with each other. But let me explain it this way. If your superiority complex is built around you being superior to you, the past version of you, the previous version of you, and every day you live with this superiority complex that I'm going to be better today than I was tomorrow, and I'm going to be better 10 years from now than I was 10 years ago. If that's our mindset and that's the way we look at things and that's how we approach life and that's how we make our daily decisions, that I'm going to be better tomorrow than I am today. I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. And I'm going to be better next week than I am this week. If that's the mindset that we're in, if that's how we approach life, then it will compel us to being that noble individual that Ernest Hemingway is talking about. You see, all of us have this tendency to inflate our former selves, especially when things aren't going well, when things are down, when things are even when things seem broken or out of step. What we do is we inflate our former selves, and what that does is it helps us, or it causes us to create excuses for our current reality. And it goes something like this. So when we're disappointed with how little we're reading or learning in our current state, what we do is we say things like, yeah, I used to read a lot, but I just can't, things are just too busy right now. I can't find time to do that. Or when we're disappointed about our health, we've gained a little weight, or we're not feeling as spry and healthy as we once did. We say things like, "Oh, I used to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I'd run, and I did all these other things, but who has time for that these days? Things are so busy, and there's so much going on, and I just can't seem to work it into my schedule." We make excuses to justify our current reality, and we inflate our past reality as if we've somehow peaked and reached the pinnacle of who we are and the pinnacle of our lives, and that's just who we were, and now we're just on this downward slope. And I think I'm in my mid 40s. I think that's partially why we dread getting older sometimes, because we believe that our best selves are in the past, and it's just this downward slope to whatever inevitable reality that we're slowly creeping towards and fighting every step of the way. Now, obviously, getting old, there are elements to that. I know I have creaky bones. I've been working the last couple of days on my house trying to get it ready to sell, and it's not quite as easy as it once was for me. So there is some reality to that. But at the same time, are you looking at your past and thinking that your best self is behind you? Or do you have a superiority complex that says, no, I will not let my best self be in the past. I'm going to be better tomorrow than I am today. I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to make better decisions. And I'm going to live a life that is noble because I'm going to be more superior than my past self. If that's our mindset and that's how we're going to approach things, then what it's going to do is going to equip us with the ability to be the best versions of ourselves, no matter how great we've been in the past. And what I mean by that is, if I am looking at my relationship with Jesus and I'm saying, you know what, I had these great times with Jesus back when I was in my 20s, or I had these great times with Jesus in this season of my life 10 years ago. What's keeping me from doing that today? What's holding me back from going deeper in my relationship with Jesus today? The circumstances, because the circumstances back then were easier or better or more conducive to that, great experience with Jesus, or, a deeper relationship with him. Well, why am I so reliant on those circumstances? Why can't I just do that today? Or, I know that I've gained some weight. I know that I'm not as in shape as I used to be, but that, that's because these circumstances in the past were more conducive to that. And though that there's some truth and reality to that, at the end of the day, we create the realities we live in. And so if you're spending all your time at church and ministry and, you're at the office, all day long and meetings, and you have this task list you're doing, and you're starting new ministry initiatives, and all these things are taking away from you being the best version of you. If that's the case, then you're the only one that can really change that. You're the only one that can change the schedule, to change the initiatives, to back down, to refocus, to strategize better. You're the one that can do that. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And if your mindset today shifts to, I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. So then ask the question, what decisions do I need to make today better than I did yesterday? Or how am I going to make those decisions tomorrow better than I did today? All of us have patterns, negative habits that we have. Some of us, we go to Starbucks every day and we get that big giant latte that's unhealthy but makes us feel good. And, we love walking in and seeing all the people at Starbucks and saying hi to them. And, they know your name and they know your drink. And, sometimes they surprise you and they have it ready for you right away. And so we like that. But we also know that it's not healthy for us. So what are you going to do differently tomorrow? Are you going to not go to Starbucks? Maybe get a smaller version. Maybe get something more healthy. What are you going to do today that's different? Because this is what I believe, that if you want to live your dream life in ministry, if you want to pastor a growing church and have the life that you've dreamed of with your family and your kids and having hobbies and things that you enjoy doing, and if you're going to live that life, then it has to be built on you becoming a better version of yourself every day. Not these leaps and bounds, a completely different person. It's little decisions, it's little moments, it's little steps, almost sometimes imperceivable. I know when, there's the old adage around, working out and fitness and everything else. It's, in a week or two, you feel the difference. In a month, you see the difference. In 2 months, everybody else sees the difference. And it's really about doing it every day and staying committed and being consistent and following through and overcoming the obstacles and fighting the discouragement. Doing those things, because the daily decisions, we are the sum totals of our daily decisions. And so my question today is for you, do you have a superiority complex towards your former self? Do you want to be better? Really, do you want to be better than who you were before? Or do you look back on your past and you say, man, I was really good at that time. I was good in this area. I was good at this thing. I had a better life. I was happier. I was more relaxed, more at ease. I was healthier, whatever. Are you going to settle for that past version of yourself and just settle for it being in your past? You reached your peak, you hit the pinnacle, and ever since then, you've been on this downward slope. Or are you going to say, no, I believe that there are better days in front of me. My best days are ahead. And I'm going to work and I'm going to dedicate myself and I'm going to discipline myself and I'm going to make the decisions today that I have to, so that I'm able to be a better version today than I was yesterday, a better version 10 years from now than I was 10 years ago. I'm going to live the life that's increasingly better. Because when we do that, when we make that choice to be better today, but than I was tomorrow, when we do that over and over and over again, day after day after day, month after month, year after year, when we do that, then we become these people, these individuals of nobility, of honor, of character, of strength, of who we are, that isn't just these great leaders that pastor people and move them, but we live lives that people look at and say, I want to be like that. Not because there's something great about us individually, just because we have made the disciplined decision, we've made the consistent decisions to live lives that reflect Jesus, that are noble, that are honorable. And people need that. They want that, desperately want that. You look at around our world right now, And there is such a vacuum of noble, honorable leaders out there. And our pastors, you and me, pastors and ministry leaders in our local churches, we should be that honorable, loving, caring, compassionate, character-driven leaders and pastors. That's who we should be. We should live lives that people inspire to. But here's the thing, if we're living lives that's all ministry all the time, that's overwhelmed and anxious, that's frustrated, and we put that face on when we see everybody, but the moment we're outside of that, it all floods back in. If that's who we are today, then we're not inspiring anybody. And if we are, we're not inspiring them in the right directions. So I want to challenge you today. Build that superiority complex and be better today than you were yesterday. And create a plan to be better next week than you were this week, and next month, this month. And as I mentioned earlier, if you really are serious about wanting to live your dream life in ministry, then consider allowing me to come alongside you this summer. Because this isn't just a gimmick. It's not just me coming and pitching you some product or some service. I believe that every pastor and ministry leader deserves to live the dream life in ministry that God has called them to. And I also believe that there's a very small percentage of us that actually do that, which means that we were called into ministry to live a life that God designed for us. And most of us have never really discovered what that is. And so what I want to do is I want to help you do that. It's the calling. That's what God has called me to do. From the very first week at Bible college, this is what God has called me to do, to walk alongside pastors and ministry leaders to help them discover their dream life in ministry. So you're helping me live my dream life when we partner together, and I want to come alongside you and help you live your dream life. And so if you're interested in that, you're wanting to do that, we can do it this summer. We can walk through and discover what your dream life in ministry looks like. If that's what you want and that's where you are and you're wanting to become a better version of yourself to live a better life, then I want to invite you to go to ministryhackers.com/consulting, sign up, and let's get started helping you discover your dream life in ministry so you can live that life that you've been designed to live the life that God has created for you, and He's put it out there for you to discover and to find. And He wants to lead you to it, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to make some changes. You have to be willing to put ministry in its place and do the things that God has called you to do so you can pastor a growing church. Pastor a church that is impacting the community, that's making difference, that's loving people, that's discipling people, and at the same time, spending time with your family, having hobbies, having things you enjoy, having free time and downtime, investing into your mental and emotional health and your physical health. All those things go together. God wants them to go together for you. It's just a matter of, can you get there? And I want to help you do that. So again, go to ministryhackers.com/consulting, develop that superiority complex today, be better tomorrow than you were today. And you'll be amazed to see what that does for you, your confidence, who you are, and the people you lead. All right. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you in the next episode.